And now that we talk about Demna,
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention Demna, but I think that Demna is kind of, he's not, definitely not like Sabato, like I said. Demna is doing it slightly different. So Demna is doing the Tom Ford thing, but he's creating characters. He's
yeah.
trying to create characters. So he's not fully there. He's like a third of the way there. Let me just say a third of the way there.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a whole new discussion about what he did. Yeah, so we'll see.
What
We'll
did you
see.
think about the Gucci collection? I'm curious.
Like the first presentation he did, or now that it was what pre-fall or the
Both
latest
actually.
one?
I'm just curious. What did you think?
I didn't like it.
Both of them. Why not?
I mean, unless maybe I'm missing things because I didn't see the close up, and maybe there are techniques that are interesting. But me, I'm like a big fanatic of clothes themselves. Of course, characters are important, but I want to see interesting clothes. So for me, like especially in the last one, I mean, I don't feel I see something that I haven't seen.
Well, you're correct because he just took. Well, the first collection was a mix of like Frida Giannini, Alessandro Michele, Tom Ford, even like older things like Gucci or Gucci, Aldo Gucci, and just taking all those things and then just like recreating it and modernizing it slightly. And then this pre-fall collection is more of just like kind of doing the same thing, but just it being more Tom Ford heavy than anything else.
Yeah, but is it my impression or the way the models are shot and the way they're holding the bags and Balenciaga a little bit? You
Yeah,
see what I'm
definitely.
saying? Yeah, yeah. Which is like, I mean, Demna was fantastic in that. We have no, yeah, I mean, he did great things for Balenciaga in terms of creating a whole movement around it. But I mean, I'll tell you an example. Rick Owens also has created a whole movement around what he's doing, but he's also doing fantastic clothes that are very
Yeah.
much his own signature. I want to see both, and both is difficult to do. Or like Ackerman, it reminds us of Tom Ford, but we see new pieces of new
Yeah.
techniques. You see, we see interesting clothes as well. Like he recreated the full atmosphere, but also like the choice of model was so contemporary. I really loved their hair and how the faces were fantastic, all very strong faces, which was not necessarily Tom Ford Gucci, Tom Ford era. I'm sorry. He
Yeah. And
doesn't, I don't remember him using. So he injected new things. What I mean, you need to inject new things on other levels, in my opinion, as well, besides the character. Otherwise, you fall into that, kind of. I mean, Demna can do that very well. For sure, he can do that. But what he's suggesting in terms of clothing, like where you actually go to the store or where you go to, because if you create a character, then if I take this piece of clothing to style it for an editorial, if I take it out of the character, will it still be interesting to do? This was such a fantastic show, the way it was presented, the models. This is all leather, by the way.
Yeah, and it's very Tom Ford. It's like it looks
It's Tom
like
Ford,
a
but in an Ackerman way, you see.
yeah.
So like he put he didn't copy. He got inspired, like you said. Tom Ford got inspired by Halston, and then but he did himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And this is a difficult thing to do for designers. But Ackerman he has great craftsmanship. I loved him when he did also Gautier. So he can do that. He works a lot with detail. He's very, very good at this. So yeah. But
Wants to
Demna
know what
is
you
not
think
that.
about Anderson Dior.
I love JW Anderson in whatever he does. I don't know why we're saying that he
I
was not.
definitely don't like it.
You don't like it? You don't like what he's doing at the.
Okay, so the
Okay.
women's wear show I didn't think was bad. The
Yes.
first menswear show is definitely better than pre-fall.
Yes, I agree.
Pre-fall I think is the worst thing he's done in a very long time. Like Dior pre-fall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I agree on
that
that.
might
But
yeah.
for me, I don't even count. These intermediate things that are like
That's what everyone says. It's like filler collection
yeah, because
because
like
it's a
pre-fall.
pre-fall collection.
And then like, nobody pays attention at that. Like, so he has to do like some diluted version of poor him. Also, he has to do so many things. Like, I mean, it's also very tough on them that they have to create all the time. I mean, I liked some pieces, but definitely, of course, it's not something very interesting to me neither. I like the
Yeah.
location. On the other hand, like he started taking elements from other historical clothing and other eras, which is very interesting. I think it gives it like a very luxury. I like to see what he's gonna do with that, and if he's going to take it with the hats and all that he did. But I agree with you. Pre-fall was nothing, to talk
Yeah.
much about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the menswear and the women's wear show, even though I didn't like every look, because
No.
one, I think the women's wear collection needed severe editing because there were so many looks. We saw some of the same looks like four times in different colorways. that could be made into just one look, because then
You're right. I
the
agree.
the less that's on the runway, the more memorable it is, because you don't
I
have
agree
to
with
look
you.
at so
Yeah.
many things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it becomes more memorable. People remember the looks. People remember the pieces. You don't need to show us multiple colorways of the same thing on a runway show, because it just prolongs. It makes the runway too long.
Yeah.
Now there are too many images, and then people don't really remember it as much.
Sure. Yeah.
So that definitely could have been edited, but there's some in the women's wear collection, especially. There's some really nice pieces in that collection.
I mean, I liked not all the pieces, me neither. I didn't like them, but I liked the energy that was like the image, the idea of the silhouettes and all that, the hats and how he created some of the dresses, the volumes he created. In that sense, I find it like I want to see what he's gonna do. I want to see him developing in that line. And it can become very interesting. You know what I'm saying? The way he draped some of the dresses,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah, I know
doesn't
what
do
you're
it
talking
like he
about.
was doing at Loewe. He's doing it in a different way. So in that I admire him, that he like somehow he molded it into for another house. It doesn't look Anderson and it doesn't look Loewe, but you can tell it's him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? In that I like him, and I respect him for that. But of course, you're right. It should have been edited. I like the accessories as well. I would wear that Dior. The previous Dior I wouldn't wear, but that Dior, some of the pieces I would definitely wear.
I was
This
like
is so.
them
This.
out. Yeah, I think people need to chill. He's still interested. No, I never said he's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
interested.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. We are
just said
saying,
that
of course.
all I've said is that his pre-fall collection was atrocious. That's all I've said.
No, I
But
think the comment is, yeah,
in terms of like generally, I've always been a JW Anderson fan. I still am.
yeah, me too. No, I think he's talking. The comment is about, in general, there are comments around about JW Anderson because he got like
Yeah.
3 awards in a row, I think, and 3 years in a row. Why we keep giving it to him? I think there was a lot of discussion around that. It's
Oh,
not that
okay.
us, yeah,
So my thing with that, because I think the difference between me, I guess, and when people just like say stuff on Twitter is like I always give reasons. But like if we're talking about the British Fashion Awards and him winning 3 times in a row, the reason why I don't think he deserved it is because he just didn't have that much work out this year. So this
yeah,
year,
yeah, on that, yeah,
his namesake label was
yeah,
having a revamp, so he basically didn't do any shows. Then with Dior, because he was like new, so he had to take time. So he designed the menswear collection, the women's wear collection, and then voting happened. So as at when JW Anderson
yeah,
basically won all the votes, he had only done 2 collections. Now comparing it to other people that were on that list, like Rick Owens, who I think was probably more deserving,
yeah,
who's had way more output. I think he's had a great year. He had the exhibition this year. He's done.
sure.
I think his output has been a bit stronger than JW Anderson. If we're talking about this year.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I say that as a JW. I can be a JW Anderson fan, but still say that Rick Owens probably deserved that award a lot more than JW Anderson for this year specifically.
Yeah, like I think this is a fantastic dress. The little capes and yeah, yeah, this one. I like how he draped it in his own very personal way. The capes are good.
Yeah, and the capes are kind of like
Very youthful.
a continuation from, because the menswear and the women's wear show, they
Yeah,
kind of had a lot of like, even the Delft dress became like the skirt, and like the frock coat became like the cape in the women's wear show. So there's a lot of like a crossover.
I I think he will pull more things from historical clothing and he will inject them in his own way, which I find so fascinating. I think he will do that. I think he will develop well in Dior. That's what I think would happen with him. That's
I
also so
hope that
pretty.
JW Anderson makes like, I've always thought he was really good at like homeware and like all those kind of like furniture designy things. Like even at his
Mm,
eponymous label, like he'll make like random things.
yeah, yeah.
Like he'll literally like make like ceramic plates and they're like really cool and it'll like be historically inspired or something. I hope he brings that to Dior. That could be really cool.
That would be very interesting. Yeah, I love this look. So beautiful. It's a new image, you know. It doesn't remind me of something, and that's a good thing.
It's kind of
Let's
like
see.
basically what he's doing at Dior, which I think does kind of work in the first 2 collections, but not in
Mm,
pre-fall, is he's taking historical clothing and mixing it with Dior. So like in the first show, it was like 17th and 18th century menswear.
yeah,
And then he's mixing it with Dior archives and
yeah.
silhouette, and then taking all of that together and seeing how can I modernize it. That's basically
Yes.
his whole thing that he's been doing.
Yes, yes, exactly. I think it's very fascinating to take historical clothing and a good challenge for a designer and bring it to today. I
But I
mean,
just
because some
don't.
other, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the only thing I don't understand though, like I feel like a lot of the Dior red carpet looks have been like really bad. Most of it actually is because the clothing is too big on the client. So I don't know if it's like
A fitting problem, maybe.
yeah,
I
like they're
think
just
so.
not pulling the right sizes for the client to like the
I
sample
think,
and
yeah. And also,
certain
I mean, some of the dresses, like this black dress, for example, like with these weird kind of curves, it's not for all kind of celebrities to wear. It's like very, the Dior that he
yeah,
is creating, many of the looks are, you have to have that kind of energy to wear that. It's not for everybody. I cannot
yeah.
imagine all celebrities wearing, some might look very weird even. They might feel even very uncomfortable wearing that kind of Dior. It's a very modern, playful kind of Dior, and it's not for everyone. All this hat, well, the hats, no, but I remember the dress that one of these dresses. I don't remember which color it was, but I remember somebody wore the dress, right? And it looked almost awful. I remember that it didn't look good at all.
Yeah.
It must be the fitting.
Because the fit, like the way they fit on the
Who wore
red
it even? I don't
carpet.
remember. And also how the whole styling is. If you do that with a very classic hairstyle and makeup, and it might look awkward even. Because if you see the hairstyling of the model, it's very contemporary, very like very simple hair. There is nothing.
Yeah.
So if somebody in the red carpet, they wear it like if it was a gown with like a hairstyle that is more of the usual ones we see. But this kind of dress, it looks weird. I don't remember what was the hair.
This is true. Back to that fit discussion, it's fundamental. 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Ah, yeah,
so fundamental.
yeah. Especially for this kind of, for everything actually.
Like
Yeah,
something can be amazing and it just doesn't fit right and it looks crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Jennifer, yeah, he did do the capes at Loewe.
But differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you can tell it's him. It's good also. You can tell it's him. You should be able to say it's this
As far
designer.
as bag sale, oh no one cares. Yeah, but it's like the conversations I have about designers is not really about. Well, I talk about sales sometimes, but I'm not Bernard Arnault, so that's not like my goal. Like I feel like as a
Mm,
journalist that I think about like narratives, I think about like legacy, like those kind of things. Because as a journalist,
yeah,
like I might be the person that writes a book about a designer 20 years from now when I've been in the industry forever. So I
yeah,
always think from that perspective more so than how many
of
bags sell.
course.
Like no one cares how much McQueen sold. Everyone says that McQueen is like a top five designer of all time. It doesn't matter
Mm,
who anyone is. Almost everyone has McQueen in the top five. No, no one even talks about if he sold or he didn't sell. So that's more about that's a
yes,
legacy conversation. So I think
exactly.
those are like two separate things. And sometimes when I critique clothing, it's not really about what the bags are going to sell, if that makes sense. It's about like the merit of the clothing and kind of,
That is
the
not
inspiration.
your,
Yeah,
yeah,
how
it's
strong
not
does
your,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I would say, even talking about that, because I saw the accessories, he managed to bring that balance. The accessories are very interesting, and I think they will sell very well. As a little parenthesis on that, so he's
Yeah.
good in doing that as well, which makes it, a good. He can do that. Loewe was the same. The bags, I
Which
think,
is,
were
he was very good at Loewe.
and at the same time creative. So fantastic. This is not an easy thing to do, also. But of course, it's not the point of discussing that here. It's not about that for sure.
This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind the scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.